Why am I so fucking tired?
Good morning, metalheads of the internet, and welcome to the most tired I've ever been without also being hungover. I don't know why I'm this tired. I got no fucking clue. I don't really have any excuse either cuz I've been off the last couple days from my normal job, and it's not as if this is especially time consuming, so yeah, whatever. I'll get over it. I usually do. In the meantime, let's talk about this brand new studio album from German thrash metal icons Destruction, entitled Diabolical. And just so we're extra super clear, please do not interpret my tired, sleepy tone as having anything to do with Diabolical or anything on it, because honestly, I enjoyed this album a lot more than I fucking expected to. The fact that I'm sleep deprived has absolutely nothing to do with the tight fucking riffery and pure thrash metal destruction that is, well, Destruction. One of the big three of German thrash metal, alongside Creator and Sodom, Destruction have been kicking around for close to 40 years by this point. This is their 15th studio album, as I've already said, but more importantly, this is also their first studio album not to feature founding guitarist Mike Siffringer, which is kind of a big deal. I mean, granted, Destruction are no stranger to lineup changes. They've been kind of a revolving door, if you will, over the course of their career. Multiple bass players, drummers, guitarists have come in and out of Destruction at different points in history. As iconic as he is, Marcel Schirmer, aka Schmier, as influential as he is to the development of Destruction and of German thrash metal, it's worth noting that even he has not been a constant member of Destruction. But Siffringer has. Destruction losing him at this point in the game would be equivalent to Megadeth losing Dave Mustaine or Anthrax losing Scott Ian. Top this off with the fact that Destruction in the 2010s, much like a lot of other older thrash metal bands, contrary to what y'all might want to believe, have been super fucking hit and miss, and I cannot say that I was super pumped for Diabolical. But in a weird, sudden, and supremely unexpected turn of events, it appears as though Siffringer leaving Destruction might have actually been for the best. It appears as though bringing in some young blood has injected Destruction with a sense of vitality and youth and vigor that they have not possessed in a very long time, because this is easily the most aggressive thing that Destruction have made in a while. It's easily the most consistent thing they've made in a while, and I would argue as a result of both of these things, maybe the best album that they've made in a while. This thing is filled with fucking riffs. Beefy, muscular, hunky fucking riffs, colossal percussive beatdowns. Schmier's nasally rasp, his high-pitched screams and squeals haven't really sounded this venomous and potent in a long time. The production is so clean, but it doesn't compromise the edge and the heaviness expected of a classic thrash metal record. Title track Diabolical is a lean, mean 80s German thrash metal fuck machine with tight fucking riffs, gnarly fucking beats, old school thrash heavy metal firepower and gristle and energy. Following track No Faith in Humanity keeps the ball rolling with some unintentionally poignant, bitter lyrics and tons of gnarly thrash metal pyrotechnics. It's not a track that's explicitly about anything, but it does feel as if Schmier is tapping into the collective anger and anxiety of the past few years, just basically condemning humanity and its greed and its obnoxiousness and its overall stupidity. Complemented very nicely by some super brutal leads, a fantastic chorus that is every bit as evil as it is genuinely kind of catchy. Despite the modern flavor and production, these two tracks spiritually feel very much in line with classic Destruction, as does a punky, thrashy bruiser like State of Apathy. Definitely another track that just taps into the madness, the confusion, the anguish of the past couple of years and pairs it quite nicely with some twin guitar leads, some rage and guitar solos, some gnarly, simplistic, thrashy beatdowns and riffs and breakdowns. I will say I'm not too big on Schmier's delivery of the line, "You feel like a whore." His nasally shrieks come off as somewhat comical with this line, but it's not so bad that it pulls me out of the moment or that it's like super crazy distracting, so I will let it slide and dismiss it as purely a nitpick on my end rather than a legitimate issue. Though that's not to say that there aren't legitimate issues on the record, because there are. For one, I think it ends on a somewhat weak note with City Baby attacked by rats, originally by Charge GBH. It's by no means a horrible cover. It's pretty solid. It would work fine as a B-side or a standalone singer, but in context of this album, it just feels extremely unnecessary. Most of the songs clock in between 3.5 to 4.5 minutes long, thank God, but I do find that tracks going beyond the 4.5 minute point do suffer from a little bit of bloat, nothing crazy. It's more like one of those scenarios where, like, 10 to 15 seconds here and there could have made a world of fucking difference. There's a little bit of, excess fat on this delicious ribeye steak. Nothing, I don't want a refund. My steak is still delicious, but hey, heads up for next time. One could argue that the album is very predictable, very generic, and you wouldn't be wrong per se, but I do think that you'd be missing the point. So long as everything is greasy, gnarly, in your face, super brutal, the way that thrash metal should be, then the rest doesn't really matter. Like, if this were really poorly performed, really poorly produced, if the songs never engaged with me on any level, then sure, calling it generic would be a valid criticism. But here, not so much. Everything just kicks so much ass that I'm not really that concerned with how inherently formulaic Diabolical is. What more can I say, ladies and gentlemen? It's not a perfect record, but I did enjoy it way more than I fucking expected to. I'm going to go with a very enthusiastic 3.5 out of 5, very close to a 4 out of 5. I stand by what I said before. This is one of the best things Destruction have made in a while. It's definitely a lot more punchy and dynamic and memorable than a lot of thrash metal I heard in 2021, aside from some standout records from like Necromantheon, Cryptosis. I'm sure there are a couple more, but the names are blanking on me at the moment. It's fucking great. What more could you want from, like, a really good thrash metal record? 3.5 out of 5, a very enthusiastic one at that. Yeah, I'd check it out. I did not expect to like this album, and I do. So, yeah, check it out. And that is it for the Metal Meltdown. I'm not an expert, nor do I claim to be, so what do you think? Do you like this record? Do you not like this record? And what do you want to hear from me next? Press this button to subscribe so you get updates on the Metal Meltdown fucking immediately, and you have yourself a fantastic fucking day.